When it comes to ranking up in Brawlhalla, there is a couple of specific elos that players tend to be stuck at, and the most difficult one to get out of is 2100, because here the changes that you need to make could be too small to see, and that's why I'm making this video with the intention to make things as clear as possible for you so that you can get actual results when playing the game starting from today. If you want to learn how to get high diamond within 2 seasons or less without getting hard stuck ever again, check the first link in the description for more details. You don't need to buy anything just yet, it's completely for free for now, just to show you what's inside my newest package. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how you need to figure something out for every 100 elo or so if you want to rank up and hit diamond for the first time, for example, right? And a lot of players asked me to make a similar video for diamond players to get to maybe like 2200 or 2300, because 2100 is known for being a hard stuck elo and so many guys can't seem to get themselves past that point. But since I managed to get out of this elo fairly quickly compared to the majority of players, I thought to myself, why not share the things that I had to do to get to 2200. Let's start off with the first milestone, which is going from 2k to 2100. To be fair, I believe this is the easiest task or like challenge in all of Brawlhalla, honestly. For me personally, getting out of 1900 and getting diamond was 10 times harder than going from 2k to 2100. And believe me when I say this, I'm a slow learner, right? I'm not special at all. Like, I need a lot of failure and a lot of time to learn something, and I got it fairly quickly, right? So if I did it, then you should be able to do it as well. And if you're wondering where's this specific thing I did to get to 2100, it's simply by doing better and more of the things that got me diamond, right? Which is learning how and when to reset back to neutral, and also locking in when playing ranked and never thinking or talking about shit that has nothing to do with winning the game, right? I talk more about this in this video, so go and check it out if you haven't already, because I won't be repeating the same shit once again here, okay? Now let's go over getting out of 2100, because this is where most people are stuck. And don't get me wrong here, right? I was stuck in this elo myself for so long. However, I got a pro player to watch my replays with me and give me a couple of advices that helped me get out of this elo, and I'm gonna share with you right now those same tips that I got from him, right? So hopefully you can rank up as well. The first thing, and probably the most important lesson here, is to be more careful about movement. From silver all the way up to 2100, players don't use their movements properly. They don't even consider this topic, right? All they do is just attacking and thinking about only attacks, right? Because it's the easier and more simple way to win. However, when you reach 2100 and higher, it's in here where you start finding players who don't attack as much, but all they do is move around to bait you and punish your mistakes. So here my advice will be to calm down a little bit when someone approach you and try to figure out their intention instead of panicking, right? When and how does he attack? Because what you'll find out is that a lot of players in this elo, when they approach you it's not to attack, but just to bait you out into thinking that you can attack when in reality you cannot. And so if he's not attacking every time he approaches you, then learn how to not panic and attack right away out of a habit, you know, instead of the attack being out of a thought process or like reactions instead, right? So understand that it's just a bait and you do not need to worry that much, right? You don't need to throw out something, okay? But also do not stand still either, right? Make sure you're moving around and trying to bait him as well. Do the same thing he's doing, right? Don't make yourself the victim and giving your opponent control over the pace of the game by not moving or engaging just as much as he's doing, and like you just wait for something to happen, you know. And this will lead to the second advice here, which is to be ready and always look very, very careful for opportunities to attack your opponent, okay? For me personally, once I filtered out the baits and understood that my opponent is not really trying to attack me, I found myself in situations where I'm not really doing anything because I was so focused on just not getting hit, you know. However, that should never be your main focus or like your main priority when you are in a game. Not getting baited and not getting hit should be in the back of your head, and your main focus should be looking out for opportunities to attack your opponent and be very, very prepared and ready when they arise so that you can actually get your big punishes, right? So these two were the main ones that helped me personally get to 2200, but I still had more small things that had an effect over my progress here as well, okay? And so I want to share them with you as well. One of them is to make sure that you mix your movement options when you're trying to bait or attack your opponent, and never go for the same shit twice, okay? So back then, whenever I tried to bait my opponent, a lot of the time I was just doing jump in, dodge back, or dash jumping and then dash back, right? Basically I was using the same 2 or 3 movement options over and over again, and that will end up putting me in such bad disadvantages because my opponent can easily adapt and predict my patterns due to a lack of adaptation from my side, right? Another one is not utilizing my advantage state properly, and a lack of confidence as well, not gonna lie. So one of the most powerful positions you can be in is when you are edge guarding your opponent, right, and they are off stage, right? The right option to make here is to wait a little bit and look how they like getting back up, and then punish that, okay? Your opponent must play almost perfectly to not lose the engagement here, okay? And the mistake I was making here is attacking way too early, or throwing out a random insig on blasters, for example, that is not even close to hitting, and that would be like the opportunity for my opponent to get back on stage. Or if I didn't do that, I will just pussy out, back off a little bit when I see my opponents getting closer to me, right? Because I was just so scared and so focused on not getting hit, then I end up letting him get back on stage instead of attacking him, do you know what I mean? And from there he's not even at a disadvantaged state anymore, and like I end up getting attacked. So the takeaway from this video is to find that balance between attacking way too early and attacking way too late, and you need a lot of focus and practice for that. It will not be easy to achieve at all, but once you get it and you learn how to do it properly, the game becomes super easy and everything becomes so clear when playing, okay? So those were the main tips I can think about that helped me get to 2200. If you're struggling with anything, make sure you leave a comment, and also tell me like what kind of guides or tips that you want me to make for you, and I'll do my best to do just that, okay? Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and see you in the next one.